guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here in Long Beach, California in a very secret filming location because guess what? We have that one top selling sedan that's been around for quite some time and now it's getting a total redesign. This is it. This is your all new 11th generation 2023 Honda Accord. But before we get into this mid-size family sedan that, like I said, has been around for a little bit of a minute, let's talk about what's going on here. 1976, that is the first year of the Honda Accord here in the United States, and year after year, it has always been a top selling sedan, so much so that many of the popular magazines that you read day in and day out chose it as 10 best, top best, the best when it comes to that four-door sedan. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, Joe, isn't it in the auto industry now everything's going towards SUVs? It seems like that's been the flavor of the year in and year out for the past decades. You are correct, but Honda is really focusing on that market that still wants sedans because guess what? They've been selling their sedans, especially with the new release of the smaller sibling to the Accord, the Honda Civic. Now, both of them are 11th generation, so that means we now have another new redesign. Honda went through the whole vehicle, top from bottom, bottom to top, side to side, and guess what? You got 6 different trims to choose from, 2 different power plants, something really for everybody, but also something for people who wanted more. So what I want to find out is, when you look at this mid-size sedan segment, there is some tough competition. Obviously, one of the arch rivals to the Accord is that Toyota Camry. What I want to find out is if you're looking for the new best mid-size sedan, has Honda knocked this one out of the park with the Accord? Let's go ahead. We got a touring trim. Let's go ahead and find out. Right off the bat, the shape. It's familiar, but you're noticing some new distinctive changes. At the front of the business, everything, like I said, has been redesigned. Love the way they worked the headlight housing, full LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, and LED turn signals. Really intricate, like I said, when it comes to lighting design. And I think this is something that you're going to see more and more as we progress into the future with the technology of lights and how it creates a unique, distinct personality to each and every vehicle. Love the way you got a nice, smooth flow. You know, there was that time where vehicles from some of the brands were sort of looking a little bland. Definitely with its 10th gen, they changed that at Honda and they continue to move forward with that design philosophy. So I love the way you have some nice smooth edges, but also some hard edges as well to kind of balance out that distinct look. In the lower corners of the front fascia, you are going to have these functional corner air curtains. That's going to help channel air up and around the side of the vehicle. And I like the way they went with almost like an aluminum style finish with the paint on that bottom corner. Even the way they brought out the splitter. You know, a lot of times we talk about splitters, we're talking about a Type R, we're talking about an NSX, but you'll notice on that bottom portion how it extends out. Not only does it give it a nice sporty look, but it also is a functional aerodynamic piece as well. Now, when we come across the front grille section, this is where you're really going to see some of that big change in design. Gone is that chrome, shiny chrome brow area. Everything up top is going to be body colored, and then you'll notice the all-new grille. Love the way they brought in some horizontal design, but also you'll notice that V formation behind with that grille, fully functional up top. And like I was saying, you're going to have your 6 different trims to choose from. This one, we are starting off with the touring trim, which is going to be your top trim, and we'll talk more about what's going on underneath the hood in a few seconds. Now, working your way down, body colored, and then I like the way that they went flat black in this lower area. This is going to take a better beating, plus it's fully functional. And the way, like I said, they brought that lower lip, that splitter from one side to the other, gives it a distinct sporty look that I think that is something that people are wanting from the Accord. Even the way that they did the grille, it's got almost like a nice little bit of a concave shape to it, where the other one was a little bit more kind of 2D. This really has a nice 3D element of design to it. Now, when we get up onto that long low slung hood. You'll notice the space from the 8 pillars with the shape of the hood. I'm glad they kept it clean. And you could see that with the HRV, with the CRV, the upcoming Pilot, the way that they have the design here, really nice, the way you have that hard body line that comes off the front fascia, and then it just evaporates as you go towards the windshield. Coming around the bend, what do we got going on? Of course, we're gonna have some new wheels and tires. Feature your eyes on these 19-inch wheels on the top touring trim. Love the distinctive gloss black, the machined aluminum finish. Obviously, this is front-wheel drive, just like before. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this tire? You're basically looking at 235 on the width and a nice 40 series sidewall, but definitely a nice, clean, distinctive look. And remember, it's only been recent where Honda has gone with a 19-inch wheel, especially on a hybrid powered Accord. But like I said, we'll talk more about what's going on underneath the hood with internal combustion engine and hybrid technology. But very distinct, very classy and sporty all at the same time with this 19-inch wheel. Now, one thing that I want to point out when we're looking at the front fender here is you'll notice the character line. Very nice the way it kind of just picks up, and then it's going to flow all the way down the side of the vehicle, all the way to the rear. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the design, because from the side you could really see that step up from that distinct body line up onto the hood. Gives it some nice character, so it's not just a flat piece of sheet metal. And that is really where I think Honda is putting a lot of focus on pinpointing exactly each location, how to really bring some nice character. You're going to, of course, have color matched on the mirror caps. We do have our turn signals LED slim and trim on the side. You do get a standard size sunroof, really nice, simple, clean, color matched on the shark fin antenna. And then what's really, I think, super smart is they didn't go shiny, bright metalwork all over the place on the side. Just along the top edge of the window frames, and then how it comes into the rear quarter window and then kind of pulls like a boomerang loop into that lower section. But shiny, bright metalwork up top, flat black on the bottom. I think it allows it to not look so heavy from the side of the vehicle. Color matched on the door handles, and then same thing, the way they work that splitter up front. Look at the way they did the side sill extension, especially up front. It actually is extended out. I'm going to have Lori swing around. It extends out, and then it just flows so clean into the rear of the vehicle. That's the type of style that, you know, obviously engineering-wise, it's important to have it there, but from a look standpoint, it's nice to have it there as well. Coming into the rear quarter window, this is another area where some brands are kind of getting a little lazy and not giving us an actual quarter window. They give you just a big piece of gloss black plastic. You do get a rear quarter window, which is nice. There's that boomerang shape with the bright, shiny metalwork, and then there's that distinct line coming into the rear. Now, this is where I think most of you are gonna cheer. You're gonna jump out of your seats. Maybe you're in your office right now and you're gonna jump out of your office chair. Gone are those lobster claw stapler taillights. I know a lot of people were a little over it. Honda decided to go big, and they definitely are not going home because this thing looks really nicely done. Full LED lighting. Look at how slim and trim everything is. I think that's one of the biggest carryaways with this lighting, is just how slim it is, but it's nice and bright, very distinct, and I love the way it gets carried all the way into the center section where the Honda badge is. Now, what's unique about the Honda badge on the rear trunk is that they actually sunk it in. I like that kind of style because it gives it a nice, clean look from the side profile. There's that very obviously iconic badge. The lighting goes from one side to the other. Even the way off the rear glass, you get that nice little bit of kick up. And then, of course, we got to look at the badging. Hybrid Touring. So when you go Touring trim, and we'll talk more about the trims in a second, that's automatically Touring is going to be hybrid powered, and we're going to talk about numbers. But same thing with the lighting. The rest of the lower bumper area is super clean. Don't have to worry about any kind of exhaust pipes hanging down, fake exhaust. They just decided to take this lower section of gloss black that matches nicely with the rest of the trim on the lower portion of the vehicle, and you can see just that nice width and shape at the rear of the vehicle. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk more about power on this all-new 11 Gen Accord. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. Yes, you do have a prop rod. The nice thing about having the prop rod on this Accord is that there's actually two different ways to put the hood. You could actually go all the way back into full service mode, and what that allows us to do is really give you a nice, clean, bird's eye view of what is powering this touring trim of the all-new Accord. So, like I was saying, 6 different trims. This one is the top one. Your entryway into the Accord is going to be LX. So you're going to have LX and EX. Those 2 trims are going to have, of course, your 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 4. That's going to be 192 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque, mated to a CVT. Well, guess what? We have the top touring trim, because then it's going to go Sport, EXL, Sport L, and then top touring trim. This has that naturally aspirated 2-liter inline 4 that's been paired to the upgraded, updated generation of 2 electric motors. With that hybrid setup, you're looking at 204 horsepower, 247 pound-feet of torque. Obviously, because we are getting a first look at this, thanks to Honda, we do not have official numbers yet on MPGs or any of that, but expect that to be coming very, very soon. What's great, though, is that it really simplifies the whole buying process. Instead of having this other engine thrown in and trying to figure out around the trims and everything, I think this really is a nice, clean, decisive way. Plus, Honda is playing it very, very smart when it comes to electrification, because obviously, this being a hybrid, this is an electrified vehicle. They're trying to bridge people to that place where eventually we will be full BEV, battery electric vehicle, powered vehicle, instead of this hybrid setup. But definitely, this is something that Honda has worked on to get maximum MPGs, and then of course, at the end of the day, have that reliability that people know and trust when it comes to Honda. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior, because there's some big things in this midsize sedan that's gonna blow your mind. All right, guys, we're inside the all-new 2023 Honda Accord, that top touring trim. I know you're saying to yourself, wow, this is what I've been waiting for. I've had my 10 Gen since 2017. I'm ready to upgrade, and I'm really digging so far what the Accord is bringing and the changes that Honda's made. But I guess the big question is, how much is it? That's the one question we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for. No official pricing yet, but think about it, be smart. You know Honda is gonna keep that price point where it needs to be to go up against the competition, especially since, you know, you look at the success of the Camry, the Sonata, and obviously the Kia K5 and Nissan Altima. But why don't we go ahead, let's see what changes they made and what you're going to be getting for your hard-earned money when you go 2023 Accord Touring. To the door panels. Love the way they kept the nice, simple, clean design. Up top, all soft touch material. I'm digging the way it doesn't just go straight across. It drops down, and that's the simple touches that really give some extra depth to the door panel. You do have that bright silver door handle. There is some gloss black around the switchgear, nothing too heavy, but I'm liking the lighter tan cream color to break up the two-tone with the door panel. Door pocket is a little on the tighter side, maybe one Chipotle burrito. You're gonna have to hold the guac, and that's okay because guac costs extra anyways, but nice to have that door pocket there for when you need it. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, don't think that this is just like a copy and paste kind of interior, because it's not. First of all, I like the way they brought this little thin strip of gloss black around the horizon from one side to the other. Super soft touch material. You got the Bose center point sound system, and I like the interpretation on the Accord of that wire mesh design that hides the AC vents. It's the touches. Look at the way they brought soft touch material with the two-tone and the stitching, and then guess what? Feast your eyes on that massive infotainment system. This is the largest infotainment system on any Honda Accord or Honda product. 12.3 inches, full touchscreen capability. Nice, easy to swipe, fast reacting. Let me show you some of my favorite things. Because we're in the hybrid powered Accord, you hit your power flow, nice clean graphics. I love the way you could have something up on one side, but also scroll through on the right-hand side. We have Google Maps, and this Touring trim has Google Assistant, which is a first. Check it out. Hey Google, cool driver's seat.
Got it. Turning down the seat temperature for the driver by 1.
So as you can see, my ventilated seat came on 1 degree right there. Or say you want to make another change. Hey Google, turn off the air.
Sure. Turning off fan.
AC fan is now off. Love the way they brought that technology. I even love the way you have a nice kind of like finger rest as you're going through your system here, especially with the maps, because one thing you'll notice, look how fast that zooms in and out. Very, very quick reacting. That really shows that depth of technology, and I like the way they brought that. And you also have your information here, like I said, that you could scroll through, which is also nice. And if you want to make the map larger, you can make it larger as well. Working your way down, those AC controls, very, very nice to the feel, to the touch. You do get physical controls for the AC. I'm going to turn it on again. Hey Google, turn on air.
Sure. Turning on.
So now the air is back on. I want to point out while we're up here, you do get a physical volume knob. So thank you, Honda, for listening to everybody and keeping that volume knob. You got your dual climate controls. I like the way it's got a nice gloss black finish. Kind of separates it from some of the other controls we've seen in the Civic and the Passport. Working our way down, 2 USB-Cs, wireless charging, and I like the way they integrated the two-tone. They could have easily just kept this all black. Bringing it really gives a nice cohesive design. This is going to control that CVT that is bolted to the hybrid setup. You do have the nice stitching. You got your drive mode selector switch. You have the E button here, electric e-brake, 2 massive cup holders. Here is your Honda key fob. Spin it around. There you go. Nice, soft on that armrest. Open it up. You got a 12 volt and you got enough room in there, I would say, for about 6 California oranges. Here's a little fun fact. A lot of people think oranges for like orange juice, it all comes from Florida. Actually, more of it comes from California. Just saying. The seats, soft material, love the design. This really allows you to be kind of cradled nicely for those longer drives. You got your full power assist. The lower cushion, very, very wide. And I'm telling you, from my perspective where I'm sitting, it feels really, really good in here. And then there's that sunroof, which I am going to zonk. It would have been nice to have a panoramic sunroof in the top Touring trim. But Honda is keeping to its name with bringing lots of passenger volume. Why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of the all-new Accord. All right, guys, we're behind the wheel. This is where you want to be sitting, behind the wheel of this new Accord. Really digging the new body stabilizing seats. They live up to their name. And with this hybrid, I'm expecting that range between fuel stops to really be super long in distance, and you're going to want a comfortable seat. The other good news is you have 2 memory seat settings. So if you're lucky enough to have a friend and you're willing to let that friend drive your Honda Accord, you could have your own seat setting and they could have theirs. Speaking of seats, easy to get to those controls. Lower lumbar, obviously full power assist. Another thing that's really great about the technology in here is you have over-the-air updates, which I think is so smart with this vehicle, especially as things change. It automatically can be updated over the air. Speaking of air, you'll notice all the free space around me. It feels good in here. I don't feel like I'm sitting super low, and I like the way there's lots of nice space, especially because I have wider shoulders. Steering wheel. This is something that Honda always does well, no matter what vehicle we're looking at. Love the thickness, the leather, the stitching, a little bit of silver trim, a little bit of gloss black, but everything where your fingers are touching are flat black, so you don't have to worry about the fingerprints. You do have paddles behind the wheel, And then, of course, this is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then the other big thing on the Touring trim, it literally is big, is going to be that digital gauge display. Nice clear graphics, fonts. Can't wait to show you it in action as we're driving down the road. And then the cherry on top of this hybrid Sunday is going to be a 6-inch head-up display. So you can see when it comes to technology, I am literally surrounded in here with the Accord. But let's see, listen, it's selfish to talk about where you're going to be sitting as a driver. Let's get into that back seat and see if your passengers are going to be spoiled in this all-new Accord. All right, guys, back seat time, and I'm telling you right now, your passengers are not going to be complaining about being crammed back here. I didn't even move the passenger seat in front of me, and you could see 6 feet tall. I could actually extend my legs out, and I feel really cradled and comfortable back here. Now, the backs of the seats, you do get the soft touch material. The zonk is there's no pocket behind the driver's side. So if you're in the back and say you're with your friends and you like collecting old 80s skateboard decks, maybe a Tony Hawk, maybe some Power Peralta, something like that. Since we're in California, that's the birthplace of those big skateboard names. You're gonna have to hold on to your deck on your lap. You won't be able to slide it because there's no pocket. Now the good news is we do have rear AC vents, 2 USB-Cs, so they got you covered both with nice vents and connectivity. I have my own pocket here, and that's where I'm gonna put my Tony Hawk board. And it's sad, I'll tell you a quick story. My brother, I let him borrow my board, and he got it stolen. So somebody out there still has my Tony Hawk board from when I was a kid, and I'm pretty bummed out. But like I said, sitting back here, you're gonna feel like a champ. You're gonna feel like Tony Hawk. Flip it down. Charmin approved. That's like quadruple ply toilet paper soft. 2 cup holders. Plenty of headroom, but why don't we go ahead? We're in a sedan. That means we have a trunk. Let's see how much junk we can fit in the trunk of the new Accord. All right, guys, before we get into the trunk, I did want to just showcase something new on this 11th generation Accord. The way they do the laser brazing right here, you'll notice that instead of having any kind of extra plastic for the rain channel or anything, it's a nice, clean, solid design. And that's something that with this new generation of Accord, you're getting a more rigid chassis. They work through the suspension, all of those bits, sound deadening material, the whole 9 yards to give you a nice, secure, quiet riding experience. Now, the trunk area, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, and this is why sedans still sell well from Honda. You hit the button, rises right up. You have over 16 cubic feet of space. I love the way the cargo floor is nice and low. The rear seat does the 60-40 Tango split, and I love the way that Honda puts the levers right up top. You don't have to run around to the passenger side to put the seats down. And if you want the exact number, it's 16.7 cubic feet of space. Nice wide opening. Also, like I said, that very, very low cargo floor. And then what's really nice is that you lift it up and you could see that you do have some storage underneath. And instead of a spare, you do have, of course, the air compressor and the filler in case you do get a flat. But why don't we go ahead? I know you want to go for an on-throttle experience in this new Accord. I definitely want to as well. We can't yet, but we will be bringing it to you, so stay tuned. But until then, we got to get out of here. They're telling us our time is up, so let's wrap it up from Long Beach. All right, guys, it's been one awesome experience out here in Long Beach, this secret underground location. Definitely want to thank everybody with Honda for inviting us out so that you get the first look of this all-new 11th generation of the Honda Accord. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Is this going to be the best new midsize sedan to buy? They're going to be reading in the comment section, or are you going to take your hard-earned money and go somewhere else? But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. Of course, we got to give it up to Lori, working that camera like a champ. Show us some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.